Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. Imagine these past days 2,000 years ago for Jesus' dear friend, Mary Magdalene. On Friday, in front of her very eyes, the person she loves most in the whole world, brutally executed. Imagine that trauma, watching him draw his last breath. She probably helped lower him from the cross, wrap his body in funeral clothes, place him in a cave, standing by to watch as a team of men rolled a huge boulder to seal the opening of the cave. That was Friday night, and Saturday. Did she sleep at all? Did she eat at all? I'm guessing that she lay awake Saturday night into Sunday morning, turning over events in her head again and again until we learn early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb. Why go there? Brokenhearted, where else? I imagine, without thinking, she just grabs her cloak, slips on her sandals, and heads for the tomb, simply to be there in the dark near him. I remember when my father died, my beautiful stepmother, his widow, descended into deep, deep grief. She lay curled on the couch for months, only half awake, as if unwilling to live in any committed way in a world without him. Clinging to the past, she existed in darkness, revisiting all the moments of their life together, nursing favorite memories, favorite moments, favorite songs, holding on to him as long as she could. And we wondered if she would ever return from this long disappearance. And I imagine Mary Magdalene as a little like this, consumed with grief, having no idea how to live now without him, lost in darkness. And when it comes to grief and loss, you may have experienced moments this past year when you wondered how to carry on. Yesterday, my sister, in line for her second shot, met a man who'd lost his brother and sister to COVID. It's always a kind of miracle when we carry on. And I very much doubt that Mary Magdalene expected a miracle as she journeyed through the dark to the tomb. I suspect she went there for no other reason than to watch and wait, just that, in the dark. Now, some say this darkness represents Mary as a figure in this story without hope and without faith. But the way I see it, Mary is indeed temporarily blinded by grief, but still she shows up. To me, that is something, just to show up. Mary is steadfast. Often, that's all we can manage in the darkest times of our lives, just to show up with no particular hope in mind, just putting one foot in front of another. Recovering addicts know this well, this one step at a time. Arriving at the tomb, Mary sees the stone had been removed from the tomb, and instantly she imagines the worst, that someone has stolen the body. So she runs to tell Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved. She says, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Here's an age-old mystery for you, the identity of the beloved disciple. Is it John, son of Zebedee? Is it Lazarus? Andrew? Mary Magdalene herself? Whoever he or she is, hearing the news, this one runs at top speed to the tomb, leaving Peter in the dust. Inside the tomb, As the story goes, they see the linen wrappings and elsewhere the headcloth rolled up and no Jesus. And although we hear the beloved disciple sees and believes something in this moment, these two disciples still puzzlingly head back home, leaving Mary all alone at the tomb, weeping. After a while, still weeping, she leans in to see inside the tomb for herself. And wonder of wonders, instead of linen wrappings and a headcloth, she finds two angels in white sitting where Jesus had been. Now, wouldn't you think that two angels sitting in the tomb would jolt Mary into realizing something wonderfully mysterious and new is afoot? Nope. Oblivious to these divine beings shimmering there in front of her, she again blurts out her fears about Jesus' body. They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him. Then, none other than Jesus himself appears before her, but Mary still does not see, instead thinking he's just the gardener. And again, she reports her fear for the location of the body. Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away. Lost in her grief, Mary clings to the story of continued loss. We do this. Loss of the body of her Lord, loss of the opportunity for him to rest in peace, loss of her old life, only darkness and loss. And yet, in this early morning at the tomb, light begins to dawn. Jesus says, Mary. He calls her by name, just as he calls each of us by name. He calls his beloved friend Mary by name, and then she sees him and cries out, Rabboni, teacher. This is Jesus, the same and also different. We see all through this story Mary clinging to her determination to find the body, protect the body. And now that she's found the body alive, I'm sure she wants to cling tight and never let him go. We always do. But this is no time for clinging. Jesus chooses her, steadfast Mary, no one other than Mary, to run and tell the others, I have seen the Lord. Mary moves from darkness to light. She moves from weeping to joy. Mary, the apostle to the apostles. No more stumbling in the dark to find her lost friend. She sees clearly, and soon the other disciples will too. In this moment of beginning again, it's as though we humans get nothing less than a Garden of Eden do-over. Jesus and Mary, this time in the garden, celebrating the best news that love comes back for us. This has been a tumultuous year, the most tumultuous year I can remember. A year lived with the ground beneath our feet shifting and changing, a year of trauma and loss, more trauma and loss. Yet even in the midst of hard times, Jesus finds us. When we stumble around in the dark, Jesus finds us. When we are this close to losing all hope, Jesus finds us. Jesus finds us where we are and uses what we have to reach us, just like he did with Mary and all her single-minded, if wrong-headed steadfastness. So, no matter where you are this Easter morning, as we slowly begin to creep out of the darkness of the pandemic and into the light, know that Jesus is risen for you. And let me end with an Easter blessing written by poet David White. The blessing of the morning light to you. May it find you even in your invisible appearances. May you be seen to have risen from some other place you know and have known in the darkness. May you see what is hidden in you. May that hidden darkness be your gift to give. May you hold that shadow to the light and the silence of that shelter to the word of the light. May you join all of your previous disappearances with this new appearance, this new morning, this being seen again, new and newly alive. Amen.